We find out that dragons are stinky, Matt Smith's new character is pretty cheeky. You can take that however you want. And the king is coming for Stannis Baratheon's Great Dad Award. Westeros, we missed you. It's the Watchers on the Couch. Welcome to Watchers on the Couch. We don't have to add Westworld, we don't have to add His Dark Materials or anything. It's back to the original. Watchers on the Couch. We're in Westeros. We're discussing Season 1, Episode 1 of House of the Dragon, Heirs of the Dragon. I'm Tim.
And I'm Mike.
Oh, Mike. It feels good.
Feels really good.
Feels so
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
As you can see,
He's got his
good time.
He's got his, we have the Hand of the King badge.
Hand of the King. Drinking I know things.
That's right. Happy shitting.
That's right.
Good. I feel underprepared for the video version of this podcast. You've got all the cool props.
Well, I got him from a really cool friend of mine. You might know him.
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
He's a real asshole.
Yeah.
So with season premieres, we've been doing this for a while, so we know that season premieres tend to be kind of light when it comes to context as they're setting things up. So we're going to talk about a lot of things, the setup of this show, some of the stuff we saw before the show even starts. But before we get started, a little bit of background in case you are wondering, because it might come up. If you're a returning member of the Game of Thrones Watchers on the Couch, you will know that I was the resident person who had read the books. And this time around, House of the Dragon is based upon George R. R. Martin's book, Fire and Blood. I have not read it. Mike, have you read it?
So I have the audiobook. I'm pretty sure years ago I listened to it, but I don't have any recollection of it. So it's possible that I listened to some of the other audiobooks, because there is like a History of Westeros one, I believe. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the one I listened to. Yeah. And I also bought the book, and I was going to start reading it, but I decided not to, and I'm not going to until this is over.
Right.
So just because of how I thought this show, this first episode, mm-hmm. was fantastic. Yeah. So like in the past, I didn't read any of the books, mm-hmm. and that's the way I kind of want to keep it. I just thoroughly enjoyed watching what was on screen and not knowing what was going to happen ahead of time.
Yeah, I agree. When I was watching Game of Thrones for the first 4 seasons, I was very interested in just seeing certain scenes come to life. But once it started to deviate a little bit for me, especially with the Bran stuff, because Bran's storyline started deviating from the books pretty quickly, that actually made the show more interesting for me because I didn't know exactly what was going to happen next. So coming into not Fire and Blood, House of the Dragon, I am a complete noob. I know nothing. I didn't watch the trailer. I think I saw the teaser trailer.
Call you Jon Snow.
That's right. I know nothing. Maybe I did watch the teaser, but that's all I watched. I didn't watch the the trailer after that. I didn't watch the San Diego Comic-Con trailer. I didn't watch the final trailer. I didn't watch the Super Finals extra final trailer. I saw nothing. I saw some promo photos, and that's it. I know that it's about the Targaryens in the past, and that's it going into this show. But before the show starts, Mike, we get I don't know if you saw the little intro clip, because I don't know if it aired on everything, but on HBO Max, there's a little teaser of what HBO has coming down the pipe.
What? Oh, no, I skipped that crap.
Oh, you skipped it?
Usually.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah. Is that a promo for different things going on?
All the shows that were coming on, because usually with like Westworld or something, it's like, hey, watch this show. But this was like, since Westeros is a much bigger draw, it's like, here's our fucking slate for the next year, basically. And we do get to see His Dark Materials is coming soon. It's not one of the ones that said it's coming next year. So I'm still hoping that, like, my prediction is His Dark Materials Season 3 is going to start pretty much right after House of the Dragon wraps up, because that's about the time it started in 2020, was like November-ish of 2020. Mm-hmm. So we'll be covering that, and that's going to be cool. But there's also a trailer or a bit of a peek at The Last of Us, which is based on the PlayStation video game franchise. I don't know if it's a franchise if there's only 2 video games, but it's got Game of Thrones alum Pedro Pascal and
All right.
whoever Bella Ramsey, I think, from little Lady Mormont is in it. And I'm an Xbox person, not a PlayStation person, so I've never actually played the games. I've heard great things, and I'm actually very interested in seeing that series. So maybe another show that we'll take a look at some point, because
I'll have to look into that.
Okay, so let's get into the episode. Mike, our spoiler-free initial thoughts. You already said you thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Like, especially coming off of Westworld that we just wrapped up last week.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so refreshing. Like, I texted you, like, man, that was so refreshing. Like, I just had fun the whole way. It like, man, oh, there's not just drowning music, every freaking second of it. Like, there's quiet scenes and the actors get to do their jobs and it's beautiful. And the cinematography is great. I felt this was Game of Thrones. Like, I felt right back into it. And I felt like the cinematography, the camera angles, the quietness of certain scenes. I mean, we are also obviously back in Westeros and the places we already know, and it felt like Game of Thrones to me, and I was really happy about it. So how about yourself?
So I'm in a similar-ish boat. I like the episode. It did feel like a bit of a homecoming coming back to Westeros. I'm on the fence whether or not, obviously, it's only the first episode, so I'm on the fence whether or not I'm going to like the whole show or not, because I'm kind of in this thing where it definitely looks like Game of Thrones. It sounds like Game of Thrones, but it doesn't necessarily feel like Game of Thrones yet. But I think that's also because, one, I read the books before I started the show, so I was familiar with the characters. Two, there is a wide variety of different characters and houses up front, and like just a whole slew of things going on in Game of Thrones where that ultimately encompasses pretty much the entire world. So I think one of the things I need to be careful about is not comparing the show too much to Game of Thrones, because even though it takes place in the same world, it's very much its own thing. And I think if I go into the mindset is like, this is more insular. This is very much King's Landing, single family focus. This is like the Tudors in Westeros, as opposed to like a big epic fantasy. I think is probably what I'm going to need to keep in mind in order to curb my expectations and not be
with
too harsh
with all
on
these characters. Yeah, I totally agree. So like, I don't know if the whole show is going to be good, and I'm kind of nerding out on this episode because Game of Thrones is back, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to be like, everything in Game of Thrones is great. This is awesome. If you ever watch it on the couch or listen to it, I mean,
that's not Mike's jam.
Yeah, but it also felt like Game of Thrones because of how many characters were introduced, and like it was a little overwhelming. But that's exactly how I felt when I watched the very first episode of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
They introduced a shit ton of characters, and I'm like,
who the fuck
are these people? Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce these names. Who's this guy's name? How do you pronounce? Oh, shit. So I did spend a decent amount of time trying to get people's names, but I know I'm going to get them wrong. Probably over and over again, just like I did when we, we're doing Game of Thrones.
This fucking show is going to be real bad for that. Because at least Game of Thrones, you had Ned, Rob, John,
right?
Robert, Cat. And it's like, holy shit. Now in this one, everybody's a Daenerys. Or a Daenerys. It's like, Jesus Christ. Yes. How am I going to, like, fair warning. Mike and I tend to make up nicknames for people, and we're going to have to make up nicknames for this, because if I have to keep stumbling over Targaryen names, I'm going to lose my mind. But also the other thing is I don't like prequels that much. So, because I already know what ultimately is going to happen to the Targaryens. So it's like, why do I care that much? It's like, it's as prequels go, especially if they're too close to the source material, it's like, I already have a gist of what happens, even if I don't know all the details, which is why I was much more interested in the pilot that they shelved, the one that takes place in High Valyria, or it's like the Doom of High Valyria, and they shot that pilot and said, nah, this isn't very good, so we're going to throw it over here, never to be seen again. only cost $10 million.
I wonder if that'll ever get out.
I don't
I would
know.
like to see that.
I hope they...
Because, I thought that'd be an interesting story of the Doom. Like, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Or, hell, even way earlier, like, with the children of the First Men.
Yeah.
But who knows if you could make that interesting. I actually think for me personally, this is a perfect spot for it to be. I don't necessarily care where, it leads up to Game of Thrones. I don't want it to necessarily lead up to where Game of Thrones started. Mm-hmm. I'm just interested in these people, and I don't know where they are. Like, there's, like the Romans, in real life, like, how long did they reign? 1,000 years?
Sure. Why not?
2,000 years? So like, well, what I'm saying is like, there's tons of interesting stories in all those years of all kinds of different rulers in the same spots in a sense, mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of interesting to me that, we're in the same places and see them different and see what happened previously. I find very cool. It's one of the reasons I really enjoyed Game of Thrones in the first place, because it had this insane backstory. The world that was built was just crazy. Like the family trees and the everything. Mm-hmm. The backstory wasn't even told in the show, so, but it was still very fun to know that there was this world that was thought out and not just, I don't know, kind of like the show we just wrapped up.
Yeah, like there was a world that they built, and even if it wasn't shown, they had rules to abide by, and they didn't just make it up on the fly.
There's other cities. I mean,
yeah. In case you didn't know, if you're just joining us, we were not fans of the end of the last season of Westeros. So let's get into it then. We start off with a prologue, and the prologue sets the stage for the show. It's kind of got this Lord of the Rings, Galadriel-esque monologue that's going on, except it's the princess that's giving the monologue. We see King Jaehaerys, who is, by all accounts, a great king, a king that's ruled for 60 years of relative peace. And I think they even said he's like the longest ruler.
Reigned for like 60 years, yeah. I think. So,
mm-hmm. So basically the gist is he calls a grand council because he's getting up there in years. He's not in great health, and both of his sons are dead. So the great council is called to legitimize an heir. So they put it to a vote of who's going to be the heir. And the choices are his one grandson by one son, Viserys, and his granddaughter from another son, Rhaenys.
I think that's right. Wait, are you talking about her name?
I'm talking about the queen that wasn't.
Her father's name. Mm-hmm.
Is Rhaenys.
Rhaenys.
I think.
Okay. Rhaenys. I think you can say it either way, because we had this Daenerys.
Yeah.
Because in the show, people did say it different.
Okay.
Daenerys and Daenerys. I can't remember if it happened in this show with Rhaenys or Daenerys.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so
I think they barely referred to her by name. I think they only referred to her by name in the prologue.
Probably.
Either way, the comment section will let us know.
Yeah.
But at any rate, Viserys wins the vote because all the lords are like, "Oh, woman, fuck that noise. We can't do that. That's madness." So yeah, Viserys gets the vote, and the whole idea of this is we have a legitimate heir, a clear line of succession to prevent a Targaryen civil war for the Iron Throne.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a nice little on-screen message that says, "Oh, before we jumped into that, Mike, did you notice where they were?"
Harrenhal.
It is Harrenhal. It's very cool. So we actually get to see Harrenhal in its glory years, because when we see it in Game of Thrones, it's a fucking shithole where Arya's getting.
It's still a shithole then. Like this is still after. Like Aegon was the one that burned that fucker down, right?
Yeah, but still, like,
and it's burned down, but it's just not as bad.
It hasn't like basically become a ruin. as much because they still everybody comes there and it's like it's it's beat up but it's shiny.
The guy on the council in Viserys' council, there's a guy Lord Strong. He is the Lord of Harrenhal. So also
good to know because I didn't make a spreadsheet. I took notes. I didn't make a spreadsheet of who everybody is yet. So there's like names I don't know.
I wanted to look up online like family trees and names, but I'm like, I'm gonna get spoiled with shit.
Yeah, you're gonna know like, oh, this guy gets killed.
I'll just follow the show and do my best. Yep.
But we get some on-screen messages after that we've jumped a number of years. We're now in year 9, I think, of Viserys' reign. And it's 172 years before the birth of Daenerys Targaryen.
Before Daenerys. That's right.
Remember what happened to her. So, and then we get into the main show, and I'm a little disappointed, Mike. This is where I got disappointed. There was no. I was hoping for a title sequence akin to the original. Like I know it's not going to be the original, where like you see the whole world and getting built up, but I was hoping for like something similar. Especially once I saw. Later in the episode, we see that Viserys has a model of King's Landing. It's like, oh, we should do some drone flying around that.
I think that is a model of Valeria.
Oh, is it?
That's not a model. Yeah, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure it's Valeria because I thought originally it was a Dragonstone because Dragonstone has a castle that looks very, very similar to a castle that's on there. But Dragonstone doesn't have any of that other shit that's on there. So I'm assuming like the Dragonstone castle was kind of a replica of what was on Valeria. And he's super into history. So I don't see why he would be building this model train set
of King's Landing.
Choo-choo.
That makes sense.
Or model dragon set, basically.
That'd be hilarious if it was King Viserys' neighborhood and he does a little puppet show in the little dragon trolley. Here's Daniel Tiger.
Here's Caraxes. Oh, here's Cyrax.
Hello, neighbor.
Yeah, I think it's Valeria, I believe.
Okay. Well, yeah. So again,
please comment. Let me know if I'm wrong because I want to know.
Everybody comments are really good at like letting you know if you're wrong or not. So we shouldn't have to worry about that. But yeah, man, that original intro that kicks it off with that theme, that's a classic, and I was really hoping we'd get a stellar one for this one. But
well, just wait till next episode because I'm pretty sure next episode is supposed to have one. They just didn't do one for this pilot.
Oh, it was a choice for the pilot?
I actually think it was kind of a good idea. Yeah. It was either a choice or like, well, it was obviously a choice, but I'm wondering if like a lot of pilots don't have intros a lot of times. So I wonder if they just kind of kept it that way. Like because of after having the pilot completed, if they just thought this worked better, especially because everyone's expecting this great intro and what if it sucks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like don't give people this initial reaction, I guess, to have something negative to say about it even before the show fucking starts.
That's a good call because certain podcasts would probably pick up on that and really rip it apart if it was bullshit. I don't know who would do that.
I don't doubt if it's good though. Who knows?
I'm sure it's going to be fine.
But hey, I don't watch a show because of the fucking intro. That's just a bonus that Game of Thrones had a great one. So, and it pumped me up every time. Zoom, 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 zoom. Weena weenas, weena weenas, weena weenas, weena ween. Yeah.
But after the not intro, we actually do get a little bit of that theme. It's the same. It's the Game of Thrones theme, but it's a little different. It's I don't know if the key's different or exactly what that is because I can't tell music by ear, but it sounded like it's more of like a major key than a minor key. So it's kind of like this is the Game of Thrones theme, but a little more uplifty and hopey.
Which I expect, and I expect that to probably happen throughout the season in a sense, because, I mean, movies do that too. Like you're gonna Star Wars, for example, you know, are you going to leave out fucking Darth Vader's theme, or like, you know, you can mix up certain themes a little bit and change them around, or use the exact same ones again. It's fine. It is Game of Thrones. I don't know. For sure. I don't expect it to be all the same, but yeah, I expect similarities.
Yeah.
It should be.
So we get to see King's Landing as it was about 200 years ago, and right off the bat, they're not wasting any time. We have a silver-haired woman riding on a dragon as we get to introduce to Viserys' daughter, Rhaenyra.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it.
Rhaenyra.
I'm going to call her Ray. Ray Dragon Walker.
Oh, gosh. Oh, geez.
Ray Dragon Walker is how I'm going to have to refer to her from now on. Rhaenyra. I'm going to say Rhaenyra or Ray.
Rhaenyra.
And her friend, Alicent.
Ray.
And we get introduced to her friend, Alicent Hightower, as well, who is daughter to the Hand of the King. Not Mike, because Mike's got his Hand of the King pin on, but he's not the Hand of the King in this show, at least. He's the Hand of the King on the podcast.
Hand to the podcast king.
Bend the knee. So Ray goes to visit her mother, Queen Emma, in her chambers, who is very preggers. And the princess comments that everyone's thinking about this baby, but no one's really thinking or taking care of Emma.
Oh, hey, hold on. Yeah. Right before, I'm going to interrupt you. So she lands. Do you know where she lands? Her dragon. Her dragon is named Syrax, and she lands it in the dragon pits. That's where Game of Thrones fucking ended. Remember? Yeah. So, just a little side note. I mean, that'd be interesting. So that's why I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, that's a good interruption. That makes sense. I kind of wish I had rewatched Game of Thrones to like remember the scenery, but then it's like, I don't want to rewatch Game of Thrones.
Yeah. At least don't want to rewatch like the last 2 seasons. Definitely not the last one.
Emma goes into the spiel about how pumping out kiddos is how they serve the realm, and that's their battlefield.
Childbed is their battlefield.
Yes. And it'll be her turn soon enough. But she says no. She's in a very, very Arya Stark fashion in episode 1. She's like, I don't want to be expected to do what's expected of me. I'd rather be a knight and ride the battle and stick him with the pointy end of the dragon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Emma's like, you must learn to face it with a stiff lip. How do you make a stiff lip, Tim? What's a stiff lip? Like...
A stiff lip is basically your expression after the end credits of Westworld season 4.
Okay, all right. So, and she smells. Rhaenyra smells like a dragon.
Yeah, apparently.
What does a dragon smell like?
This is the first time because nobody else ever complains about how Dany smells.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Tormund never tells Jon, "Boy, you fucking stink like dragon. You need Old Spice." Yeah. So, but yeah, apparently there's a dragons have quite a bit of a musk that rubs off all over of you, and
smell like kerosene or something.
Smells like Taco Bell.
They smell like alligators, like an alligator pit.
Oh, that does smell bad.
That's inside.
Yeah, that would actually make sense. The way I structured my notes for this episode, it's not exactly scene for scene, and it's not exactly person by person in terms of plot points. So some of these scenes I'm describing might be out of order. I'm just kind of breaking them up where it seems logical to break them up. So
all right.
Later we have Rhaenyra and Alicent. Ray and Allie are under some trees with Allie trying to tutor the princess because the princess is being dismissive and moody. And Alicent surmises that it's because Rhaenyra is worried about her position with the family once Emma has a son. But Ray says she doesn't really care that much about the position. She wants to ride dragons, see the sights, eat cake. Fuck, who doesn't? I would love some cake. And she hopes her
cake or death.
Yeah. And she hopes cake or death is probably something they should actually have in Game of Thrones at this point. Although the cake is probably poison, and so it is death. That's how that's going to work. So she hopes her father does get the son he always wanted. Now she finds out that her uncle has apparently arrived in court, and the king doesn't know yet. So she goes to the Great Hall, which is empty, except for Daemon Targaryen, the first name that we can actually pronounce, played by Matt Smith. Dragon Who?
Matt Damon Smith.
Matt Damon Smith. Dragon Who's apparently never been in court. And when Ray questions him about this, he says that he heard his brothers holding a tournament in his name. And Ray corrects him. And that the tourney is for his heir. And Dragon Who is like, yeah, that's what I said. Oh, he's cheeky. Oh, he's a cheeky guy. And we'll see his cheekies a bit later. Ooh.
He's sitting on the throne, and that's a big no-no.
You don't.
That's why she says, she's like, you get in trouble for treason, so.
That's Daddy's throne.
Oh, and they're speaking High Valyrian.
Yes.
And if any of you want to speak High Valyrian, just download Duolingo, and you can learn High Valyrian yourself. Not a sponsor.
Yeah, it's not a sponsor at all. Did you try learning High Valyrian?
I tried it like a couple months ago,
okay.
And I was like, oh, they got this High Valyrian, because they put an alert on it. And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool if I learned some of that for, doing the show. And I'm like, I'm not nope, can't do it. I can nerd out on this show like crazy, but I just can't do it that much. Especially while I'm trying to learn a real language. Right. So
meine Muttersprache ist High Valyrian.
Mm-hmm. Oh, since I'm just talking about an app and you can learn High Valyrian, HBO, I believe on their website, has an app where it's like this AR, augmented reality app for your phone that you can download, and you can raise your own dragon. So
great.
Check it out. Yeah.
That's just what I want to do. I want to spend my time with that.
HBO.com. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
They should be giving us episodes beforehand so I can do some research.
I'm always interested in how the fuck all these blogs and shit have their recaps done half an hour after the episode's done. These are like multiple pages. Like, do you not proofread?
Oh,
because it seems I don't see a lot of errors in here. It's like, how do you get that done so fast? Because it doesn't even
some screeners.
It doesn't. Well, some of these places don't seem like they're places that would get screeners. They're no more reputable than us assholes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have HBO press room credentials. I get the photos as soon as they come out.
That's right.
Getting back to Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Damn it.
Matt Damon Targaryen.
Getting back to Damon and Ray. He gives her a necklace that's made of Valyrian steel. And it's weird.
Just like Dark Sister.
This is Dark Sister.
That's a sword.
That's it, yeah. And
it's their dead sister, actually. Like, they just call her that. Like, they keep her in the basement. Yeah, Dark Sister,
Lots of people name their swords.
Lots of cunts.
Yes.
Mike, that's the only sound clip I have right now. I lost my Game of Thrones soundboard over the years that the show's been off the air, and I didn't have time to pull anything.
I got one.
Do you?
I got one, and it's for after Viserys, his wife dies, and he goes and announces to everybody,
my wife's dead.
Ah, crap, wrong show.
This interaction between Daemon and Ray seems a little weird. Like, he's kind of like, this is a creepy uncle, man.
That's what I thought too. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. And we know how Targaryens are. Well, pretty much anybody really in the world of Game of Thrones.
Except the Starks.
It's okay to marry like cousins and nieces and stuff like that. So, yeah. Except for the Starks, but they'd accept it from other cultures. So,
yeah.
Well, yeah. But yes, it's a little creepy.
Yeah, that's the thing I didn't think of with Emma. It's like, oh yeah, she's got silver hair. She's like his cousin or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she is. Yeah. She's his cousin or even closer than that.
No.
Man, I wish I wrote that down.
No. Yeah. God damn it, George R. R. Martin. What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
What's your family dynamic? But yeah, we learned.
Yeah. He's watching a lot of that stepsis stuff on the internet.
I'm your step king. It's okay. Oh no, my step queen is stuck on the Iron Throne again.
Oh, Dark Sister.
Just like Dark Stepsister.
Oh, look, it's Coralise. It's Coralise, the sea snake. Oh, show me that sea snake. Yeah. Coralise got that BBD.
Oh, man. So we learned that Daemon has a Valyrian steel sword, so that'll come in handy when the White Walkers show up. Oh, right. Wrong show. So it doesn't matter at all. But we do know he has a Valyrian steel sword, and that he named him his sword like a cunt.
Oh, speaking of cunts, we got a cunt count on this show.
That's right. The cunt count starts right off the bat.
And so Chris Nays isn't here. Oh,
yeah, no Chris Nays minute.
That's a bummer because I guarantee he would have said that. That's one for the cunt count.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no, we're gonna
thinking of you, Chris.
Chris says he's probably not going to do Chris Nays minutes for this season, but that means you guys can. We have a voicemail on our website, watchersonthecouch.com, through SpeakPipe. You can record a voicemail of your thoughts and opinions of whatever the latest episode is, corrections department for us, all that kind of thing. And we'll play it on the air if you're not too mean to us. You got to be nice.
Join us.
Won't you?
Our City Watch needs to join us. That's what our listeners shall be called. The City Watchers.
The
City Watchers on the couch.
There we go. The shitty watchers on the couch. Sean Connery.
Are you watching this right now while you're pooping?
That doesn't end well for Tywin.
Then this show is for you.
We're on the throne. So we'll jump over to Viserys, because we get to see the small council for the first time with a bunch of lords around the table, some of them eating. And we are introduced to Lord Corlys Velaryon, something like that, who commands the king's fleet. And apparently there's trouble in the free cities. There's some of them have joined forces, and the free cities, if you remember, is places like Bravos, other Oses. I don't know. Bravos is the only one I know. Is that the only one that I remember?
Oh,
Pentos?
Man, now that's the only one I remember too.
Bravos, Pentos.
What? Pentos?
Mentos.
Oh. Yeah, Mentos. That's it.
Davos. Nope, that's a guy.
Where was the House of Black and White? Was that in...
that's Bravos.
Bravos?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, yeah. Because the guy that trained Arya was from Bravos, right?
Yeah. The one that she meets in Harrenhal.
Yeah, he says that the place called the Triarchy, masked on Bloodstone.
Yeah, they're...
And they have the leader called Kragus Drahar, and they call him the Crab Feeder.
There you go.
It's because he likes to eat pussy.
You can tell that's a nickname he gave himself.
Yeah, the
Mark.
Crab Feeder. It's supposed to be because it's how he tortures people, or like, I guess maybe
he feeds them
throws them in
or something.
Yeah. Okay.
But Corlys,
they just pinch him. You pinched to death. Oh, look at me!
I squish your head.
I just stop pinch. Come, jeez. I feel like even if you were thrown in a pit of crabs, like you would easily just like smash them with your feet. Eventually they'd all be dead. I mean, it would hurt.
I don't know what. Maybe crabs in Westeros are really big and cannibalistic.
All right. Do they have giant lasers on their head?
But at any rate,
all right,
we're here in the small council where we find out Rey is basically the person that gives everybody their water and their wine, and so everybody's feasting except old Corlys over here, who's talking about this issue with the Triarchy. He thinks it's going to be,
and he does not.
He doesn't drink. He doesn't imbibe.
Drinking.
He's Lord Business Time, is what this guy is.
He is. I actually like him for that.
He's my favorite character.
I'm kind of liking this guy so far.
He's my favorite character so far.
Reminds me just slight hint of Tyrion a little bit, just as far as just being business time, or just saying things like later on, he's like, shall we just say his name? Daemon Targaryen. Like, come on, let's fucking get on with this shit. Around. What are we doing here? Yeah. So.
Yeah, he thinks all these cities align with each other, and this crab eater guy, Jesus, whatever, it's gonna spell trouble for Westeros at some point. But everybody blows him off, and it's like, man, that's not gonna bite anybody in the ass, right? Like, this isn't Westworld. We can probably we can probably trust that we'll see some pirates and crab feeder sometime this season. It's not like it's going to be a plot point that they never fucking return to, but you know.
Yep.
Instead, all the white boys want to talk about the fucking game. The big game. Stupid.
Big game.
Stupid fucking white people. Jesus Christ. They did. And Lord Business Time said, you all motherfuckers deserve to get crabs. That's you're fucked. Fuck you.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be like the richest person basically in the world, right? Like him and his family. And he's married right to Rhaenys.
Yeah. Ray Senior.
The queen that
never was.
But I believe they're even richer than the Lannisters ever were. So
and the Lannisters shit gold.
So I'm told. Yeah. What are they shit? We shit crabs.
We shit diamonds. Yeah, but they're celebrating the upcoming heir, but the Grand Maester, whose name is Melos, the fresh maker, says
Melos Yellow
says they can't predict the sex of the child, but Viserys is convinced that it's going to be a boy, and we find out he's convinced when he visits Emma, who tells him that this is going to be the last time she goes through this bullshit because she has not had good luck producing offspring, and it's like, of course you haven't. You're fucking related, but okay.
Yeah.
But
who would have thought?
But that's okay. Viserys is still convinced it's going to be a boy because he had a dream, Mike. He had a dream of crowns and wieners. Speaking of wieners, we go back to Daemon Targaryen, who is the leader of the City Watch, and he's riling up his men. And apparently King's Landing is just silly with fucking crime. And tonight they're going to make the citizens fear the color gold.
Yeah, Daemon's the guy. Daemon made the gold cloaks. Before Daemon Targaryen, there were no gold cloaks. There was still a City Watch, but they didn't wear gold cloaks. So, yes, a little showiness from Daemon Targaryen.
Yes. It's very cool to see. I like it. And I like Daemon so far. I like that he's kind of an asshole. And so far, he's like kind of deserves to be an asshole.
Well, I think there's a lot of deeper things with Daemon. Like on the surface, I guess people could see him and it looks like he is an asshole. Looks like he's unstable or violent or
opportunist.
Like, no, dude, that guy fucking shouldn't be on the throne. But really, I think he truly loves his brother, truly loves Rhaenyra, and I think he's intelligent, and I think he'd probably be a good king. As far as kings are concerned, like he's not crazy like the Mad King, but he could probably step it down a notch if he did become king. Stepping it down a notch would probably be a good idea.
Damon, you're at 11. I need you down here.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what people think. Like, look, how he went about this with the City Watch and kind of cleaning up the streets. But then again, I mean, there was a lot of crime going on. So what are you going to do?
Was there? We don't know.
Apparently.
I mean, this is just some guy pointing at him and saying, this guy did this. It's like, did he? I don't fucking know.
Well, maybe that guy in the City Watch knows.
He's Columbo.
Maybe he's the City Watch detective.
He's Columbus.
Columnus.
So, yeah, they storm the city and they're just beating the shit out of everyone. They're cutting off hands of thieves, heads of murderers, and wieners of sexual assaulters.
I didn't know what was going on there first because all you see is the guy's butt. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Did he just cut his ass out? Like, he just ripped that guy a new asshole.
No, cutting off wiener. We can show all kinds of other gross things, but we can't show off a wiener getting a wiener dismemberment. Speaking of
apparently
dismembered members, they apparently needed a 2-horse wagon to haul off all the pieces of people.
haul off all those wieners. We need a cart for all these wieners, all these wieners.
Listen, you got room in your cart? Because I'm just filled with wieners back here. Well, I've only got a 2-seater and I've got 16 heads. I mean, maybe you could just cram some of these wieners in between them.
Yep, they made everybody Viserys. Viserys? Is he from but no. Oh my god. I can't even get the names right now. Now it's in my head now.
You're confused.
Who is the guy in Game of Thrones that got his wiener chopped off?
Grey Worm?
That was the Hand of the King.
Oh, not the hand.
Not
the Hand of the King. You're thinking of Varys.
Varys.
The spider.
But now that you said that, you were like, Grey Worm? We're like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, so many people got their dicks chopped off.
Theon, like everybody's.
Fucking never mind.
We do have an episode of Watchers on the Couch called The Brothers Without Boners. So.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, there is somebody who's related to Beric Dondarrion in the show, or his lineage or something like that.
I don't know enough about that background. Like, I don't know how old Beric was in Game of Thrones. It would be interesting if he had been chosen by the Red God for a long time. I mean, I'm sure there's other people that know. It's like, no, Beric was only fucking 50 or something like that. But it'd be cool if he was fucking 150 and we see him on this show.
I'd be okay with it. Yeah, that'd be cool.
But yes, going back to Daemon, his antics really piss off the Hand of the King, old Otto. My name is Otto, and I love to get blotto. Otto Hightower, who's telling the king the only fucking one of the only names that can be pronounced is Otto, who's telling the king that he can't act unchecked like that as they enter the small council room again. But Daemon's already at the table. He's like, you talking about me, fucker? And they argue about whether the display of violence is necessary or not ahead of the tournament. And Daemon argues that, the city is largely viewed as dangerous and there's people coming from all around. People should feel safe. And he's not wrong. But then Otto's like, hey, how about instead you go back to the Vale and attend your wife? Which is basically a nice way of saying, hey, why you no bang your wife? And Daemon's all like, well, at least my wife isn't dead.
Yeah, Otto's like, oh, well.
My wife's dead.
Right. And it's why
lots of dead wives.
Attend my wife is basically, it feels like it's an insult to tell somebody to have sex with their wife in this show based on this scene. It's like, hey, why don't you go home and fuck your wife? It's like, hey, why don't you go fuck my wife?
Yeah. I am your wife.
Doesn't matter. I say again, you fuck my wife. But apparently,
this Otto guy, man. So on my first watch, I didn't pick up on enough things to realize this guy is kind of shady. He's kind of a piece of shit,
dude. For a long time in this episode, I thought, I kind of like this Otto guy. He seems to be the one that has his head on straight, and we're gonna find out in a little bit. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
But apparently this kind of headbutting between Otto and Daemon is a thing because Viserys is like, my brother makes sport of provoking you. Must you indulge him? Or however he talks. Which, nice fucking victim blaming there, Viserys. Jesus Christ, the guy's wife is dead. But he gives his brother a slap on the wrist.
Well, I want to know. I have a feeling Otto killed his wife. That's my prediction. That he killed his wife. Because I think, didn't she... I don't know, man. I don't remember if they say it in this show or not. No, but I don't remember if she died on unfortunate circumstance. I don't know.
But nobody fucking dies.
I just have a feeling
circumstances in the show.
Well, I have a feeling he killed her, but who knows?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. He killed her by poison, and that's how Emma died.
What?
That's why things went wrong. Yeah.
This is your theory? Well, let's talk about theories a little bit. Because...
Well, I mean, in the books, like, Emma's actually like this, like, poppy fiend, and she's always, like, just doing poppies all the time, and that she always fakes, like, you know, being heard and, you know, wailing and stuff just so she can get more high and stuff, and that's why, you know, she and the baby died, because the, you know, this crack baby.
Are you thinking of? Are you thinking
of
Tombstone, Mike?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Okay,
because I just made all that shit up.
Thinking of Matty Earp. So Viserys gives Daemon a slap on the wrist, and Viserys, by the way, not a well dude. He's apparently he's got a big open sore on his back, which he says is from sitting on the throne. Which, yeah, it's a fucking throne of swords. It's not a comfortable place.
That shit's goopy and like gross. Like, wasn't that like how Sam, like, didn't Sam go through a bunch of, you know, trying to clean grayscale, right? There was this whole fucking gross montage. Could he be getting grayscale from like the throne?
Everybody
even know how people get grayscale.
Everybody knows you don't
somehow
Mike, everybody knows you don't get grayscale from a seat. You get it from a swimming pool.
What if you get grayscale by, like, if you get cut by something that was melted by dragon fire? I don't know. I know that sounds stupid, but maybe that's how the Doom happened. They started using dragons to melt all their stuff, all their metals to build things, and then no one realized that it gives you
dragon spit's not good for you.
Grayscale. Yeah, I figured it out. I figured it all out. I'm real smart.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm with you. You're drinking and knowing things. That's what. But yeah, don't fucking sit on the chair. Just use it as a decoration. Drape a fucking carpet or a tapestry over it. You know.
Get a fucking file, man. Those swords should just be for display.
Why are they still sharp?
Why are they sharp still?
Especially if you
melted.
Yeah, especially if you melted them, they shouldn't be sharp.
Yeah. Round edges.
Jeez, man. This fucking show. This show's bullshit.
But
those chair swords. God damn it! Those chair swords shouldn't be sharp. That's hard to say. That was really hard to say. I challenge all of you listening to try. Chair swords aren't sharp. Chair swords shouldn't be sharp.
These chair shorts aren't sharp.
That's a shirt. Put it on a shirt.
If you apparently people look at it, if you get cut a lot of times on the throne, that you're not worthy of being on the throne.
I remember.
Fuck, man, people are stupid.
Are they?
Who would have thought? You sit on a fucking chair of swords, you might get cut sometimes. But that means you're unworthy. You should be more careful sitting on that sword of thrones.
So. Moving on, the tournament kicks off, which is fine. I mean, if you've seen Game of Thrones, you get the gist of what a fucking tournament is. There's jousting. There's competitors asking for blessings from lords and ladies between bouts.
Playing joust in a big vagina stadium where blood is being spilt.
Well,
I mean, take another look at it.
I didn't notice that. Is it an accidental vagina?
I think it's a purposeful one.
Wow.
You know, blood's being spilt on that battlefield.
Well,
and then blood is being spilt on Emma's battlefield.
Man, I didn't catch that at all. I need to go back and watch that because, man, you're
if something looks like a vagina, I'm going to notice it. Trust me, I've seen one.
I've seen. They're going to fly over it in Game of Thrones on the intro, and I'm going to point it out every time. That's Vagina Stadium. They got the naming rights for the next 10 years.
Oh.
But there's
welcome to the Cervix Dome.
That's everything in Vagina Stadium is definitely televised on ESPN 8 The Ocho. So there's a Baratheon who asks for a blessing from. I put in the notes Viserys' sister, but it's not his sister. It's a cousin from she's another brother's descendant. So that was me being dumb.
She's half Baratheon. So that guy was a Baratheon.
Oh, she's half Baratheon?
Yes. Yep. And the first two guys were Baratheon, and that's who what's his name takes down. The guy that's he's Dornish.
Oh, Kristen Cole. The only
my tits.
Okay, Mel Gibson.
What's that guy's name?
Kristen Cole. Kristen Bell.
Kristen Cole, common born son of Lord Dondarrion's steward.
Cool.
That's right.
So the second normal name that we have after Otto.
Right.
The only,
I guess. Kriston.
The only non-fucking Valerian-esque name. But at any rate, he gets a blessing from Rhaenys, the queen who never was, who wasn't elected. But then Barry gets his ass handed to him by Cole. So shortly thereafter, Daemon competes against the Hand of the King, Otto's eldest son. We don't really, I guess we see his face after he gets the shit kicked out of him. But apparently he wins by going for the horse instead of the rider. And
that was fucked up.
That was really fucked up. And then he asks Allie for her favor, and she kind of hesitantly gives it to him. And Sarah, when we were watching this, it's like, can you do that? And it's like, I always thought you couldn't. For like some reason, I thought like at least in our medieval history, which this is everybody wants to say this is based on, and I thought if you went for
I think the scene is to show how passive Viserys is. You know, because Otto, I think, gives him a look like, what the fuck? You're not, but a very passive look, not like a, hey, what the fuck? Like, kind of just like,
It's only my eldest son here.
See what he's going to do. But obviously he's not going to, Viserys isn't going to do anything to his brother, especially he's still going to be number one for his family and kind of no matter what, I would assume, in a sense of like, at least, I don't know, I guess that in public, in a scene like that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, in our medieval history, I thought if you went for the horse, it was like deeply frowned upon or dishonorable.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if I'm just making that up, but for some reason that's in my head.
It has to be.
But we find out that also things go to shit pretty soon after this. And as Rhaenys is talking to Lord Business Time, Lord of Ships, her husband, people start fighting near to the death in like a really brutal fashion. And this is where it's like, oh yeah, I forgot how violent Game of Thrones is. Because it's been so long. But she's saying it's been so long since there's been a real war that the knights haven't had anyone to kill. So they're looking for an excuse to kill each other. And maybe they
Yeah, because most of these people, haven't seen war in, how many years?
At least 60.
Because at least 60. At least probably 70. Because there were 60 years of Jaehaerys, and then another 10 years after that is now.
Yeah.
So,
and then presumably after Aegon conquered everything, there probably wasn't too much. I don't know how.
Right.
Aegon, I think we find out Aegon was 100 years prior to where we are now.
Yeah, I believe so.
So that's presumably if there was no war after he conquered everything, that's a long peacetime. That's older than our country that we're in.
Right.
Of peace.
And we haven't had any wars.
We've never stopped. So
we're doing it for freedom, Tim.
Sure.
Has nothing to do with money.
This podcast? Yeah, we're doing it for freedom when we're doing it for free.
For free we are. This isn't our job, people. Just so you know. There's definitely someone watching right now that's like, yeah, no fucking shit, I can tell. Not saying we're the best. Come on.
I think we actually...
All right, we're the best.
We're pretty good. Like, I've heard some other recap and review shows with some more prominent people in it, and I think we're just as good, at least.
Yeah.
And I think in some cases, much more entertaining. That's just me.
We know weird.
We know weird. Well, they all take it too seriously. That's the problem. It's like they're very passive when it comes to criticizing the show, and it's very matter of fact what happens. They so you know.
Yeah, I know someone that I used to listen to years back, and they were honest about the show all the time, and then they like moved to another company and then completely changed, and like there was basically like zero criticism about the show whatsoever. You know, and I'm like, oh, come on, like I don't know, it's just a bummer.
Yeah, I mean,
but hey, who knows what that person has to do, money or whatever, or I don't job, family, I don't know. So I'm not really judging. I'm saying it's a bummer, you know, that someone that you like and then ends up not being honest. Like, you don't think I'm honest, so call me out.
You didn't like this episode.
I don't think anybody will think that.
No. Yeah. I think we're safe. we're lucky that anybody's watching or listening. So, getting back to the joust. Daemon has a bout with Sir Cole, and Ray is very interested in Sir Cole. She's also kind of interested in Daemon too, because she seems to like it when he does stupid or does dishonorable shit, like knocking down Otto's son. She's very into the violence, it seems.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Cole unhorses Daemon. And then Daemon wants to do hand-to-hand combat, and Daemon pretty much beats Cole in this. And it's like all of a sudden
he's like, "Ha, look at me! I am so great.
I am the victor." And then Cole hits him from behind with a fucking morning star or a ball and chain or whatever it was.
Yeah,
and disarms him and makes him yield. So fuck this guy too. I mean. So far, the only person I like is Sir Business Time or Lord Business Time.
Yeah, but hey, no, I think that's totally fine. What Chris and Cole did, you don't think so?
To attack somebody from behind in a competitive sport?
Yeah, I just think it's okay. I don't know, in a sense, like, hey man, we're still fighting. Like, what the fuck, man? Let's go. You know, I don't know.
Maybe
I almost see it. It is kind of, yeah, I get it. It's kind of a shady thing, I guess. But then again, like, it's one of those things, I guess, that someone's showing off while you're down, but it's not over. Like, yeah, hey, motherfucker, I'm back. Like, I'm not down. I'm not dead. Like, this fight's still going.
Yeah.
You're the dum-dum.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're not wrong. I just like picture it like
I get it from both sides.
Imagine if in boxing you could just walk up and punch the dude in the back of the head.
But it's not like that though. Like there are like rules. There's a referee that's going to keep that from happening.
There's supposed to be rules in here too. It's like the personal honor of whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm tired of talking about this shit. Stupid jousting.
I've been pretty. Yeah.
Nobody jousts anymore. Why are we arguing about it?
There was something in this show though, like that jousting was always, in my opinion, super fucking silly in every show, medieval show all the time. I just thought it was like the dumbest thing. I think Game of Thrones helped bring it to like, dude, it's pretty fucking terrifying. If you're on a horse going fucking full speed at another guy with this long ass spear, that's actually pretty intense.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think they show that very well on the screen. And because there's been a lot of shows that just has made it look silly.
They make it look like Renaissance Festival jousting.
Thing. Yes, exactly.
Whereas this shows like the realism of like, fuck man, you could get killed really easy jousting.
You know,
that thing fucking
jousting breaks and fucking, you know, get stabbed in the neck. Like,
well, there's no, I mean,
my shards and
you probably had like a 50-50 chance that either fucking Otto's eldest son got Christopher Reeved or just flat out fucking died right then when he got thrown from that horse and have it land on him.
You know, you can get knocked off or halfway knocked off and do a freaking, you know, Tony Hawk rail slide all the way down. So I don't know, but anyway, I think it's cool how they show it. And man, there were so many cool shots. That's another thing I really love of Game of Thrones is their cinematography.
Yeah,
it's really
always
really
great. It's been good. So let's get to the real fun stuff, Mike. Let's get to the childbirthing things.
Oh my God. Dude, the way she was screaming, I would have fucking killed her too.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, shut up. You're faking it.
Okay.
Dude, her screams were like awful. So
yeah,
props to that actor, because I was like, I'm just about to mute this.
Yeah, I liked her. I was hoping she would last longer. But yeah, in the middle of the game, somebody tells Otto, and Otto tells the king that there's an issue. And we find out that the baby's in breach and can't be turned. So Viserys shows up. The maester tells the king that sometimes in childbirth, the man must make an impossible choice to sacrifice one or lose both. So there's a...
Let me ask you about this.
Mm-hmm.
So from my understanding, she was going to die no matter what. Is that what you got from it?
No. I think...
Because like the baby can't be turned, like most likely she's going to die if she tries to have this baby. So either you lose both of them, like you make that choice to lose both, or you save the son. Not you choose the wife or the baby. It's they both die or the baby lives.
Maybe that's what was implied. That's not the way I took it. I took it was like you can pick one, and you he chose poorly. Is what that came down to. So yeah, there's a chance to save the baby, but the blood loss would likely kill Emma, and he needs to act now or trust it to the gods, which is always what you want to hear from your medical practitioner. So Viserys chooses to have them save the kid. He tells his wife that he loves her, but not that much, apparently.
He could have at least asked her, I guess. She was high as fuck at that point, but it's still maybe, hey, we don't think the baby's gonna make it. I don't know.
So she figures out what's going to happen real quick, so she panics and begs for mercy, and the maester starts to do the surgery, if you want to call it that, because I thought, they've invented the C-section. They very much did not invent the C-section.
They invented cut her belly fucking open, like just straight to.
Oh God, this was the worst. But they get the baby out, and Emma dies. And Viserys is told he has a son and names the boy Baelor. And then we hear the baby cry and then give a really weak little cough, and the maester looks concerned.
And it sounds like little monsters.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to hear. So
the baby whispers like a prophecy.
Oh no. So I'm gonna
Season 8 of Game of Thrones.
I'm gonna
going to be bad.
The most important episode in the whole show you won't be able to see. So I'm gonna be completely real here. As soon as Viserys told Emma they were gonna take the baby out, they're gonna get the baby out now. It's like, okay. I got up and I left the room. I went to the kitchen, and I still listened to the scene, but it's like, I was not about to watch that shit. I'll watch people get fucking axed to the face all day long, but things have changed for me since the last time Game of Thrones is on, and certain things hit way fucking different now, especially if you've had some scares in that regard. It's but yeah, anything that's like traumatic birth stuff or really young child endangerment, things like that.
You should go back and watch Shireen get burned.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I probably wouldn't. I probably won't.
It's a lot of fun.
I probably won't. I think Bran getting pushed out the window is going to hit a lot different too, because that was the thing.
Nah, fuck that kid.
Especially this guy's king. Fuck him.
He's a three-eyed raven. He should have saw it coming.
I think there's a threshold. Like, I think maybe eventually, like, this will pass and I'll be able to not enjoy scenes like this, because that would be weird to say. But
you're not supposed to enjoy it, though.
No, I was gonna say like that I might be able to watch things like this again and be like, oh, this is awful, and not be like, I can't watch this. I'll fucking lose my shit. Because I have literally no interest in seeing like traumatic birth stuff or child endangerment shit right now. Like I tried.
Well, I have a feeling we're going to have some more of those things,
and I'm not a fucking idiot. Like as soon as we saw Emma was pregnant and she's going to have a kid and the heir's going to be son, it's like, nope, this is Game of Thrones. This is going to end real fucking bad. So it's like, I'm not a dum-dum. I know I'm not Jon Snow. I know what's going to happen. This is going to end.
Best case scenario, poorly. It's somebody else's kid.
It's the best case scenario. Best case scenario, it's a daughter, and
it's Coralie's. It's Coralie's kid.
But it's like, man, I'm really sensitive to this stuff. Like right now, like I tried watching A Quiet Place for the first time last year, and if you've seen A Quiet Place, you already know that movie starts off rough. And it's like, I was already like, nah, I don't know if this movie's for me. And then they have the baby. And as soon as fucking Jim from The Office puts that baby in a box, it's like, I turned it off. It's like, I can't fucking do this right now. I'll read the Wikipedia synopsis of what happens in this movie.
Things definitely hit different after you have a kid, for sure. I definitely have noticed that as well. Because like anything that has to do with like you said, child endangerment, man, people that abuse kids and shows and movies, man, that fucking lights a fire under
me. Yeah, dude, fucking Sandman.
It's hard.
Have you seen the Sandman show yet?
Not yet. I heard it's pretty good.
It is. It's very good. But there's there's a little bit of child abuse in that, and that's like, fuck this, man. Kill these people quick. And but yeah, I'm just hyper focused on how much more of that there. I don't know if there's more of it now or if it was always been there, and I'm just attuned to it. But it seems like a cheap way to get suspense. It's like, oh, we're threatening a infant or a toddler, their safety, and the bad guy's going to threaten to kill the kid. Oh, okay, that's fun. It's like, we're doing this again. There's so much of it. There's so much of it. It's like, dude, fucking, I'm done. I'll pass. Right. Here's a very scary birthing scene. I'll pass on that too. I've had enough.
Well, let me tell you what you missed.
Well, I saw the aftermath. I saw the aftermath where it's basically X marks the spot. And it's like, fuck, man, this is awful. I'm glad I didn't watch that. I can only imagine what this is like for people who had real fucking serious, like births or child loss or something like that.
Well, we have a friend that almost died and had to have a C-section. So I wonder how she feels about if she watched. I wonder if she watches it.
It's like, oh yeah, this is entertainment for other people right now. Cool. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think if they didn't show us that and alluded to it, we wouldn't have really missed it if it wasn't there. So it's a conscious choice to show some sort of brutality while people are getting their access to the head, which is fine with me. Fucking bludgeon the shit out of everybody you want. Doesn't bother me.
I don't have a problem with them showing it. I think it's kind of important to like see what women in that time would, I guess, go through. Like
you said it
so insanely different. Well,
you said
it's dangerous.
I hate it.
I did.
People in this time, the dude fucking
back then.
Okay, Snoop Dogg.
That's what we say all the time. Yep.
Fuck.
All right.
Even the fucking showrunner. Even the showrunner said, oh, it was 50-50 if you survived childbirth back then. It's not back then. You've got fucking dragons. It's not the real world.
I guess I would try to replace that with like medieval times. Yeah. Would that work? 'Cause like, I guess fantasy medieval times.
No, I'm being picky.
No, you get it. 'Cause I remember a lot of times I would say it. And I would call myself out because it fucking annoys the shit out of me back then.
You were back in ancient history when there were dragons.
But
we almost all died because of vice zombies.
It also shows how, I think, difficult a decision it was for Viserys. So
I don't know if it was.
Hey, this is all about the men, okay? All right.
Should be called Mentoros.
I don't care about the woman dying. This is all about Viserys and the men.
He wants his boy kid. I bet if he didn't have that dream about a boy kid, he would have been like, maybe I'll save my wife, but a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. You know what? It is really fucked up that you would like so,
because he didn't know.
The way I took it, his wife was going to die anyway. But if that's not the case, then it's crazy fucked up. Like, because he only did it so he would have a fucking heir. Like, his brother is capable of being the heir.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this stupid shit of like, I have to have a boy to be an heir, like, is fucking stupid as well. So he has his brother or his daughter, which we know what happens, but yeah.
I need a cousin son. Well, at any rate, let's get back into the succession part of the episode as we get into the Jesus, we're only in like the second act of this episode. I thought we weren't going to have that much to talk about. So there's a funeral for Emma, and we find out for Baelor as well, who only lived for a few hours. And as Ray is talking to Daemon, who seems legitimately sad in this scene, or, you know, feeling for his family. She wonders if his father found happiness for the few hours before she does the Dracarys and cremates them both via dragon.
Yeah, you know, that actually took me by surprise that the son died. So it's like when we find out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I figured
baby was still alive, and on first watch I didn't pick that up, that like the baby was not breathing that well.
Oh, I picked that up. That's as somebody who's very conscious of his own child's breathing. It's like, are you choking right now? It's like I picked up on that real fast.
Maybe that maester killed that baby.
I'd be like, oh, that didn't sound good.
Melos Yellows killed that baby.
Fucking Melos Yellows.
So he was paid by him and Hightower in on it.
Also, I've seen Police Academy. That's not fucking Hightower.
Dude, every time I hear Hightower, that's the only thing I think about. Fuck.
What if there was a Game of Thrones? Imagine a Police Academy that took place in like Game of Thrones type time period. So you have like fucking House Hightower, House Tackleberry, House Gutenberg.
Like the show of the City Watch, but it's Police Academy style.
Yeah.
Sounds
all these fucking I'd fucking watch it. Fucking HBO. If you're gonna make a Jon Snow North of the Wall show, you can sure as shit make fucking King's Watch Academy. Just fucking milk this franchise for all it's worth. Because George R. R. Martin isn't gonna write any more books.
Yeah. Yeah, he ain't finished.
He even said that. Well, he didn't say he wasn't going to write any more books. He said he's given up on predicting when the next book is going to come out. It's like, well, then it's not. Because I mean, the fucking last book came out between seasons 1 and 2 of Game of Thrones, so it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been
over 10 years at this point.
Yeah.
So we're back in the small council for the third time this episode, and Otto tells the king he needs to name an heir. And Lord Business Time, Corlys, says Daemon is the rightful heir, as Mike pointed out. He cuts through all the bullshit. But Grand Maester Mellow Yellow and Otto basically say, no, that's a bad idea. He'll destabilize the realm. He's violent, and with the Watch, he has his own army. And Viserys is like, you gave him the fucking army, dipshit. I tried to put him in all these other positions, and you said, no, he can't do that. No, he can't do that. And Otto's like, yeah, that's the point. Your brother's a fuck up. You shouldn't be anywhere near here. Meanwhile, Dragon Who is eavesdropping. I don't know why there's no security to fucking tell that guy is like right behind the wall, but okay.
Yeah.
That's very nitpicky.
Don't look back here. No one's back here.
Pay no attention to the dragon behind the curtain.
Isn't there supposed to be a King's Guard around that fucking place, to make sure no one's listening in?
You would think.
Man.
You would think.
King's Guard is probably against Viserys too. Viserys. Oh, man.
It's hard.
Too many risses.
Too many risses pisses.
Yeah.
Otto suggests naming Ray as the heir, and the others are all like, just like 60 years ago or 70 years ago. Not a woman. Certainly not. They bleed all over the place.
Oh, they're incompetent.
What, we want a queen? A queen is basically somebody's wife, and everybody's wives are dropping like flies. But Otto is firm, like, Ray is a better solution than Dragon Who. as king, and the king gets pissed about having to choose between his daughter and his brother, and he's pissed about having to have this meeting at all. This meeting could have been an email. His wife and kid just died. But his wife and son dying is his fault, so fuck him. Depending on how you take what Mellow Yellow said about that birthing situation.
In the comments, let me know what you thought.
Yeah,
because I want to know how most people took that.
Yeah, I need to make
or how it's supposed to have been taken.
Right. So next we see Alicent. I think it's her name because I'm just calling her Allie. Is visiting her dad, Alianato, who's all, hey, why don't you visit the king in his room and wear one of your dead mom's dresses? I'm sure the king will appreciate the company. So fuck this guy.
On first watch, I did not pick this up.
Really?
Okay. I thought, yes. So, and even on second watch, I didn't think he was actually saying, hey, why don't you go fuck the king? That's basically what he is saying. So, because the only thing that really, I think, really shows me that that's what he's saying is when Alicent is like,
in his chambers?
Visited him in his chambers, yes. I'm like, oh, okay. That, he's definitely saying.
That's not proper.
Like, holy fuck, man.
Wear one of your mom's dresses. Because she dressed very pretty.
Had that on.
It definitely got my wood up. It's like, Jesus. So I like this guy up until now, so fuck him. Creepy fuck.
I wonder if Viserys used to fuck his wife. And that's why. That's why Viserys used to fuck his wife. And Otto found out, and that's why Otto killed his wife.
Why don't you fuck my wife?
Fuck my wife. Everybody's fucking everyone's wives in this show. At least in my brain.
I just like how in the canon of Westeros, our own head canon, we've fuck your wife. No, you fuck my wife. It's like the greatest insult that you could tell somebody.
I won't fuck your wife. You fuck your wife.
Why don't you fuck his wife? Well, I wouldn't fuck his wife with his stolen wife. I wouldn't fuck your wife with
your wife with her vagina.
I wouldn't fuck my wife or your wife with his wife pushing. We went real off the rails. It's nice to be back.
Yeah.
So Allie does. Yeah. Allie visits the king.
Fuck that guy.
Allie visits the king in his chambers. And he's working on a model of, I thought it was King's Landing. Mike thinks it's Valeria. But either way, it's very nice. And I'm hoping that's what we're going to see, like a panoramic tiny drone view in the show opening going forward.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. All right. You know what else? Well, I'm waiting for him to add on to it, and like he had strings of dragons, and like has what's one of those little things that like you put in a kid's crib,
a mobile,
like a little mobile that'll be on top of dragons going around.
That would be fun. But she brings the king a book, a history book, because he loves the old histories. So it's very nice. It's not creepy or gross at all because the king doesn't seem at all interested in bagging this. I don't know how old she's supposed to be. I'm assuming they're teenagers because we clearly have a young Ray but an older Ray voice in the narration. So there's going to be some sort of time jumps at some point. Or maybe they just do time jumps back and forth throughout the show.
Yeah.
So hopefully they do that shit better than Westworld too.
Yeah, I think they don't have to raise the bar too high to be better than that. So
we see Daemon in the brothel that he lives at. We get the first sex scene of the show here earlier in the episode. It's probably the least sexiest sex scene in Game of Thrones history. But we do get to see Matt Smith's butt. So if you ever want to see Doctor Who's butt, you got it in this episode. And you get a slight hint of wiener. I think you just get a hint of Matt Smith's root. Because we paused, I had to pause and back up for Sarah because Sarah missed it. I made sure.
Awesome.
Nope, you got to see it. But anyway, so there's a celebration going on in this brothel, because Daemon is back to being the heir apparent. So he toasts the king's son as the heir for a day. And word of this gets to Otto.
Nobody actually says that, though, right?
No, you don't. You don't find that out until Otto. Somebody tells Otto. Otto tells the king. The king has Daemon appear in the Great Hall and confronts him about it.
Till a bunch of people fucking lie about it, because even I guarantee, I have a feeling Viserys didn't, or Daemon did not say that.
Well, he doesn't deny saying it.
He doesn't. He doesn't say that he did.
He says everybody mourns.
The way he says it, like he kind of shakes his head a little bit, like "fuck." This is what you think of me. That's kind of what I got.
Oh, interesting.
Out of him shaking his head, and then he was like, "Well, we all have to mourn in our own way." So I have a feeling he didn't say it.
Okay.
Or somebody else maybe said it, and he covered for them. Maybe Miss Sarah. Who's his girlfriend?
I don't know. I didn't write that name down.
Masseria? I think it's Masseria.
Okay.
Mysaria.
I'll
yeah.
Sure. But, he says everybody mourns in their own way, and Viserys calls that out as bullshit because he wasn't mourning anyone except he was celebrating his rise, and he has no allies in court but him. And he's given Daemon everything, and Daemon's just throwing it back at him. And Daemon's like, that's because you're always trying to send me away, just trying to get rid of me. Meanwhile, the court's using you to your own ends, King Viserys, brother dear, because you're weak. You're weak as fuck. And you need me to protect you from yourself.
Bullshit. Go fuck your wife.
So, the king basically declares that he's chosen an heir, and that Dragon Who can jump in his Drac TARDIS and wibbledy-wobbledy himself back to the Vale and fuck his wife. Meanwhile, the king cuts himself on his goddamn chair again, which wouldn't happen if you had a tapestry on it.
Yeah. This is a castle, right?
There are
you
tapestries.
Do have tapestries.
This is a castle, and we have many tapestries. But if you are a Scottish lord, then I am Mickey Mouse. How dare he? I can say that. I can do all those accents, even if they are bad, because not only am I Austrian and German by blood, I am a Scottish lord by Sarah paying $100 for my birthday for me to own a square foot of land in Scotland.
I want to know what Masseria's accent is. I just thought it was weird when she was talking to Daemon. It just sounded odd.
Well, that's one of the...
Where are the Asians in this show, huh? I don't remember seeing any Asians in Game of Thrones, all right? I'm fucking around. I'm just fucking around.
Oh, you're the other side of YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, right. What? The Coralies, and it's just bullshit. It wasn't like that back then.
Fuck those people. Fuck those people.
Can't do this in a fantasy show. I don't know what my accent is right there.
Right. Well, that's what I was about to say about fantasy shows. Is you can have whatever bullshit accent you want. It's like, yeah this is how these people talk. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to be a proper Scottish accent or whatever accent you want. It could be fucking terrible. The accent that I just did a little bit ago could have been a perfect accent for some other fantasy race or fantasy people. All right. Yeah, the king summons Ray Ray and tells her he's naming her the heir, and proceeds to tell her about the secret behind the Targaryens, about why they need to be in power, and that the power they hold over dragons is an illusion. It's magic. And
it's an illusion, Michael.
The dragons are a weapon that cannot be contained, and that's cool and all. But apparently Aegon the Conqueror had a dream. Everybody's dreaming all the time. That there's going to be a great winter coming from the north, and out of that winter will come whatever comes out of that winter wind will destroy the living, and all of Westeros will need to stand against it. And a Targaryen needs to be there to unite all the peoples of the world, and it's called A Song of Ice and Fire. Probably my least favorite moment of the show, but
I don't really mind it that much. I think it kind of makes sense. There's a lot I don't know. There's a lot of movies and TV shows that are named a certain thing because of something that happened in the show, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, a Dance of Dragon is mentioned in Game of Thrones when that girl that got burned. Why can't I remember her name? Too many new names, and now I don't remember anybody's name. Anyway, she was talking to her dad about it. And he was like, that doesn't sound like a dance to me. The dad that burned his daughter, Stannis and his daughter.
Although, in defense of Dance of Dragons, that book hasn't come out yet. So.
Okay.
Wait. Is Dance of Dragons the 5th one?
I thought it was.
Maybe. Jeez, I thought it was the Winds of Winter. No, Winds of Winter is the one that hasn't come out yet. Okay. Fucking books. But yeah, it just seemed like he called his dream a song of ice and fire. Oh, was it a song or was it a dream? Because was Elton John there? Because
ice and fire, as he was singing in his dream.
But it seemed corny. I didn't mind it. It's fine.
It does take you out of the show when it is said. Like when those things are said,
it's
so that's why
it's not breaking the fourth wall, but it's knocking on it pretty hard.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like, oh yeah, I'm watching a show, sitting on my couch. Crap. All right, reset the brain.
So
where's the wieners?
So during this, we cut in between scenes of the lords, including Stark and Baratheon, pledging their support to Rhaenyra. I only have her name abbreviated in my notes, so I've already forgotten.
But that is like a huge reveal, right? Because I hear that's not mentioned in the books at all. Like so Aegon's conquest was not just about like, I don't know, taking fucking everything over. Like there was a purpose to this. Like it was to unite everybody because there was a bigger threat. Like, it was a thing that's bigger than us. Like, so.
Well, I think the dream might have been post-conquest, but
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's what this reveal is.
Meanwhile, Daemon hops on a dragon with his mistress and leaves King's Landing. So I'm going
You think he's going to his wife with Mysaria?
He's going to not fuck his wife in front of his wife. But I will say, Matt Smith being the one to start the cunt count for this season of Game of Thrones, probably one of my favorite moments in TV, because if you're used to family-friendly Doctor Who and Matt Smith going, he's a cunt, it's pretty cool.
And by the time he said it, like, I was with him already, like, because it's like, dude, this Hightower guy's a fucking cunt. And then he's like, yeah!
Hightower sucks. Viserys
You're my new best friend now. Now I'm on your side.
Yeah, so far,
and that's what fucking Game of Thrones does to you. There's always all these gray areas, or there could be like a fucking bad guy. Who knows? Maybe Hightower, like we hate him now, but maybe in the future, like we're kind of like, just like Jaime Lannister, we're like, that guy's a fucking asshole. He fucks his sister, like pushes kids out windows, but we forgive him later in the season.
And
so we're like, yeah.
And then in the end,
get together. Oh.
And then in the end, he doesn't have a redemption arc at all. He goes back to his fucking sister.
Yeah.
I'm not a good man.
Oh, another thing. Did you see the cat's paw dagger?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So they're tying it in a little bit. I hope they don't try to tie too much shit in, but this was enough for me. This was good for me. I like it.
They definitely hopefully they definitely like leave this show like standing on its own without getting too much into it, because I mean it's so far in the future and we already know what happens to them, so fuck it. So we know from the narrative.
What else do we got, Tim?
Just our post wrap up. It's time to close this episode down. We know there's going to be some time jumps, presumably. I don't know if it's going to be like in between episodes, like if like suddenly in the season we jump time because I haven't read the books, or if we're going to keep going back and forth. But
if I've heard correctly, I think they'll jump in like episode 3 or 4. They're going to jump time, but I could be completely wrong about that. It could be back and forth in episodes. I'm not sure.
So we know, I mean, as far as post recap theories and speculation, Viserys is probably going to fucking die because he named his daughter. So it's got to be a big deal. And he's got fucking oozy pus stuff. And he deserves to die because he was a shit dad and a shit husband. And apparently he's kind of a shit king. So
yeah, he's a nice guy. You know, that's why he's a shit king, because he can't be fucking just a nice, good guy.
So we'll probably have...
That's king.
So we're going to have a civil war for the throne, obviously, because that seems to be the gist, because this is what we're trying to prevent. Well, okay, well, that means that's what you're going to get. So I'm interested in seeing if it's going to be a two-way war with, like, whether, or if it's going to be like a war on two fronts, because you'll have Rey with her claim, but then you also have Rey Sr., the queen who wasn't. But it seems like she might just ally herself with Rey because she is the first female ruler or something like that. So maybe there's some solidarity there, or maybe she's just...
Well, what I've heard is that Rhaenys like has gotten over it, but Corlys has not. You know, so I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be something in the show, though. You know what I mean? Because they haven't shown that, so that might not be the case.
Okay,
I would think there'd be three fronts, though. You know, obviously you got Viserys, you got Daemon, and then you have Corlys and Rhaenys.
Well, Corlys seems to be a big Daemon fan.
But who are these other people? What about Crab Eater? You know, maybe he's building up something.
Maybe. So, yeah. I don't have anything. I mean, we know that...
Yeah, I don't have anything either. And I don't really remember much from any of the Next On stuff. So
we didn't have next. It was like just in the coming... It's not like the next episode. It's like this season. So it's like, oh, okay. Well...
And I don't really remember much of any of that.
And we didn't see it during the... They didn't show it during the show. You had to watch that afterwards. Because they just did the behind the making of the episode. So that'll do it for our coverage of the season and series premiere of House of the Dragon. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back next week. But until then, I'm Tim.
I'm Mike. And thanks for watching.
And listening. And now our watch has ended. Until next week.
Oh, is that what it does? It's not Don't Get Your Dick Chopped Off? No, that was a different show.
No, Don't Get Your Dick Bit Off. Was American Gods.
Don't Get Your Dick Chopped Off was this show.
Was it?
Don't Get Your Dick Chopped. Yeah. Don't get your... I thought this show was Don't Get Your Dick Chopped Off, but American Gods was Don't Get Your Dick Bit Off.
I don't know. I don't know.
Now our watch is ended.
Now our watch is ended. Until next week.
Cheers.
Prost. Hey, if you've watched this far, let me just say thanks. It means a lot that you take the time to listen, and if you enjoyed the show, I hope you'll consider giving us the old thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. You don't have to do it, just consider it. You don't even have to smash anything, except my hopes and dreams.